Hi everyone, today in Mail Code Challenge we have a problem of interval list intersection. The problem statement says that given two lists of closed intervals, each list of intervals is pairwise disjoint and in sorted order. Return the intersection of these two interval lists. Formally, a closed interval AB with A less than equal to B denotes a set of real numbers x with x is always greater than equal to A and less than equal to B. The intersection of two closed intervals is a set of real numbers that is either empty or can be represented as a closed interval. For example, the intersection of 1, 3 and 2, 4 is 2, 3. There is one example here which shows the input of interval list A and the input B which is a list of intervals, and the output comes as a intersection intervals of these two lists. The reminder says that the inputs and the desired outputs are list of interval objects and not array or list. So it basically means that when we say 0 and 2 closed interval, it actually means that it keeps 0, 1 and 2. If we have a pair 5 and 10 closed interval, it means that it contains 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And in the note it says that a length and b length all is greater than equal to 0 and less than 1000, and at any point all the intervals are always greater than equal to 0 and less than equal to 10 to the power 9 for both list A and B. Okay, let's start thinking about the problem. There are two key concepts here. The first concept here is we should know what is a disjoint means. For example, when we say some disjoint set, it means these are disjoint sets. 4 and 5 are disjoint because their intersection is an empty set. Between these two intervals we don't have anything in common, so these are disjointed. We need to understand that 1 2 and 2 3, this is not a disjoint set because 2 is a common element between them. So this is a definition of disjoint we need to keep in mind. And the second thing is, what is a closed interval? Interval A and B, always make sure that A is less than equal to B, which will be very helpful when we are implementing this solution. Okay, let's take the example A and B and try to solve this problem. Okay, let's think about A is equal to just one pair. A has just one pair and B has just one pair. So it means A is basically 0, 1, 2 and B has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what are the common element between these two arrays? We can see that the common element between these two are 1 and 2. And how do we come to this conclusion? We because we know these are A is always less than, the start point is always less than end point. So in these two pairs we will take math dot max of A0 B0 and math dot mean of A1 and B1. Okay, so between 0 and 1, which one is maximum? If 1 is maximum, and between 2 and 5, which is the minimum? 2 is minimum. So we arrive at this conclusion that 1 and 2 is a interval intersection between these two pairs. Okay, let's try to move this expand our solution. Let's have 0 2 in A and 5 10 in B, and let's start with 1 comma 5 and it should be 8 comma 12. Okay, this is our A and this is our B. So as we have already solution for these first two pairs, we know that 1 and 2 is the interval intersection. Let's move to the next pair. This is 5 and 10, and this is 8 and 12. So what is the maximum of 5 and 8? It is 8. And what is the minimum between 10 and 12? It is 10. So 8 and 10 is the second interval intersection. But there is one more interval intersection which is missing here, and we will see that 5 and 10 and 1 and 5, we have 5 which is common. So if we compare this and this pair, we will get what is the maximum between 1 and 5, 5, and what is the minimum between 10 and 5, it is 5. So we were missing this pair. Why did we miss it? Because we can't move both the pairs together. So how do we move then between a list A and B? We need to understand that we can make use of the endpoint of each pair. The pair which is ending first has more probability of keeping the pair of keeping the one of the shared interval of the next pair. For example, between 2 and 5, which is smaller? 2. So we will move for 5 and 10, and we will check 5 and 10 with 5 and 1. And then we will see that 5 is something which is common between these two pairs. So we will use this strategy to move between the list while doing the implementation. So we are pretty close. Let's try with the third pair. We will go here, and then now we will see between 15 and 24. Okay, so we already know the answer of these two pairs of A and B. Now we need to think of 10 and 12. Which one is smaller? 10. So we will move to 10 for one pair, and we will check 13 and 23 with 8 and 12. So what is the maximum between 13 and 8? 13. And what is the minimum between 23 and 12? That is 12. We got this pair, but this is not a correct closed interval, as the definition says that we need to always have A less than equal to B. So we can't go with this interval, and when we are implementing, we need to always check that in each interval the first starting pair is always less than the end pair. So okay, it works. Let's move to the implementation quickly and see how it looks like. Let's start with the basic variable definition. We have an empty array. Let have counter for A list, and then let have counter for B list. It's also 0. And then while I is less than A dot length and B dot and J is always less than B dot length, what should we do? We need to check the low point. Where is the low point? Low point is always math dot max between A dot I dot 0 and B J and 0. And what is our high point? High is equal to math dot mean A I 1 and B I 1. And while, no, not while, we just have to do if check. If low is less than equal to high, then we simply push this to our result. Dot push to low and high. And how do we move forward in the loop? We need to check the endpoint of each pair. So if AI 1 is less than B J 1, the one which is smaller, we will move in that list. So I plus plus, and else we become J plus plus. And then in the end we will return our result. Okay, So let's try to run the code. Okay, if we see this, the we are not getting the correct result, because it should be J, sorry. The counter for B is J and the counter for A is I. So we always have to make sure that for B we are using the counter J, and for I we are for A we are using counter A. Let's try again. uh, yes, it works. I will try to submit the solution. Yeah, and this solution works. What's your opinion about this solution? You can write me, and see you next time. Thank you so much.